Hey fellow tankers, Mobius here with another World of Tanks console related video. There's not going to be any gameplay in this. It's just going to be me discussing rather one-sidedly about the Black Friday and Thanksgiving weekend bundles going on in World of Tanks console. So I guess it's more or less just going to be a monologue. Before we get started, two things. I've been sick all week, and at the time of recording this, I am still quite ill. So, yes, I am aware I look, sound, and feel like crap. Thank you for reminding me. Secondly, this video was going to be much angrier if I did it earlier in the week when I was running pretty hot and still very upset, especially after the announcement of the Black Edition tanks and all that jazz. And I'll kind of get into more detail as to why that got me so upset. If you're not paying attention on the forums or you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably are not aware that I basically flipped my lid when these Black Edition tanks were announced, in particular, for a number of reasons. The very first thing when I read the news bulletin on the World of Tanks console website, the very first thing that I noticed was that everything is listed as being discounted. Okay, now at the time, all the tanks were listed at 5% savings. And I did a quick comparison. I simply chose the IS-6 because it was the easiest one. I pretty much know the price of the IS-6 off by heart. It's 11,800 gold in the tech tree. And at the time, the IS-6 Black Edition, when these Black Edition tanks were first announced, was listed as 13,600 gold. And yet, it still said that it was on 5% discount. That made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. So I made a thread as I was running pretty hot, and it was simply titled, "How in the hell is this a deal?" I said, IS-6 Black Edition, 13,600 gold. Pretty sure the IS-6 in the tech tree is less than 12,000 gold by itself. 11,800, as I said. So the IS-6 Black Edition at the time was listed at 1,800 more gold than the regular tech tree IS-6. And yet somebody has the audacity to claim that marking up over 1,500 more gold is 5% savings? Are you kidding? Stop trying to pull the wool over customers' eyes, please. That's what I was the most pissed off about, is when something costs more than what it's actually based on, because these are mostly just reskinned premium tanks. They're premium tanks that are either already available in the tech tree, or in the case of the CDC, a premium tank that everybody had the chance to earn for free. So we get these Black Edition tanks. They're being released at more expensive prices, or at least some of them were more expensive than what you could get from the tech tree, and yet we're being told they're on discount. It made no sense whatsoever. I'm simply going to say that. At the time, the Russian IS-6, the French AMX CDC, and the German Low Black Editions cost more gold than the premium tanks offered in the tech tree that they're based off of. Now, this was at the time when they were announced. Keep that in mind. So this is like Monday, I believe. The US T-34 and Chinese T-34-3 Black Editions all cost less than the premium tank offered in the tech tree. Again, I didn't give any values. It was kind of beside the point. The Japanese STA-2 Black Edition cost the same as the premium tank offered in the tech tree, because logic. So some are less than what would cost in the tech tree because reasons, and some are more than what it would cost to get one from the tech tree. And yet they're all on 5% discount somehow. It made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Since then, the prices first went up overnight on Monday, and that caused another whole crap storm of really pissed off people, including myself. And then Pain God stepped in, and, well, I don't know if that actually happened. It's beside the point. But it's in the news feed. Pain God stepped in, and the discounts had to be more. So now all of the Black Edition tanks do cost a tad more than a tech tree premium tank, or a premium tank that we get from the tech tree, but they're not much more. The discounts are actually bigger. I made a couple edits to that post. Here's what really kills me. Somebody wants an IA6 but has no gold. Pay $50 for 12,000 gold. Boom, done. $50, got a brand new premium tank, and you got 200 gold left over for demounting equipment. 200 times. So that's a lot of silver reimbursement for demounting That's a pretty awesome purchase, in my opinion. Somebody wants a black IS-6 but has no gold. About $60 for 2 separate gold packs, giving enough gold to buy it. The gold pricing is silly for 2 reasons. This was at the time when the Black Edition IS-6 was 13,600 gold. So to make up for that extra 1,600 gold that you don't get from the initial $50 purchase, you got to pay another $5, $6, $10 for about 2,500 gold, depending on how much the gold packs actually are in the store. You got to remember, it's not when you pay for something with your gold in the game that you're giving your money away. It's right when you purchase that gold and have it added to your account. And if something costs 13,000 gold as opposed to something costing 12,000 gold, it could be as much of a $5 or $10 increase, even though 1,000 gold, if I recall right, isn't worth that value. If my memory is serving me correctly. The second note that I made, I failed to see how a gimmick like extra crew XP earnings warrants a price increase. It's actually normal tank XP earnings, but because the tanks earn plus 75% more XP on the tank, on top of the bonus that every premium tank at tier 8 gets, every premium tank in the game gets for crew XP, it just makes it a more effective crew trainer. The crew will earn more XP per game because of it. By extension, can we surmise that the T-34-88 and AMX Chaffee would have been cheaper had they not been given bonus crew XP benefits? I'd have still bought the T-34-88, even if it didn't have a bonus crew XP benefit. And who in the giant mass of ignorant potatoes really gives a squat about crew XP anyways? You're talking about people who routinely hamper their tanks with 50% crews to save silver. It's not attracting new players to charge more for the same tank that has some extra bonus they don't care about. I don't think I can be more self-explanatory than that. New players don't really care about crew training. They don't really know what it is. If you try to explain why it's important to manage your crews effectively and how you can overtrain them so that when you're swapping them from tank to tank, your tank is still super effective, even though, you're paying silver to swap the crew. It's going to go right over their heads if they've had less than 2,000 battles. They don't care about that stuff. They don't. They want the biggest, baddest tanks in the game, namely tier 10s. That's what new players really look for by the time they've hit about 2,000 or 3,000 games. That's their aim. That is what they know and understand about the game come that point. Unless they're a really fast learner and do a lot of outside research within those first couple thousand games, which those kind of people are extremely few and far between. My third note was a direct reply to Max Chaos, who was giving me all this information that the tanks are on discount because it's factoring in the bonus of the 75% extra XP that the tanks generate, as well as factoring in the cost of permacamo, which on console, we kind of get screwed over on because we have to pay 25% more gold than, say, console version, or not console version, than PC version, because PC only has 3 types of camouflage. And to permacamo, it's 200 gold per camo type, per season. We were given a 4th camo option. Now we have to pay 800 gold. So instead of decreasing the cost of permacamoing stuff to 150 gold, so we're still paying 600 gold to fully perma-camo a tank. It was simply, make another camo option and make it also cost the same, so now we're paying 25% more because reasons. So after he gave me that math, I replied to him, while you're here, can you explain to me how all the maths you gave on the first page have been factored into all the tanks? And then explain how those maths add up to higher cost than normal tech tree offer for some tanks and lower cost than normal tech tree offer for others. This was because, as I said, the Lurva and the IS-6 were 1,500 to 2,000 gold more expensive than what was in the tech tree, but the US T-34 and Chinese T-34-3 were a couple hundred gold cheaper, and the STA-2 was the same price as a tech tree STA-2. The Black Edition STA-2 was the same price as a tech tree STA-2. It made absolutely no sense, and I was calling him out on it. Because those were the figures he gave me, more or less. And my fourth note, this was after an overnight price hike to not only all the tanks but all the bundles. which at the time was not explained until many hours later that it was a pricing error. So they fixed the error by increasing all the prices that everybody's upset about. Good thinking there. So first, the prices of some tanks are wonky as all hell, with some black tanks being cheaper than Tech Tree premiums and others more expensive. And overnight, after the uproar this has already caused due to pricing, the Black Edition tanks have all had their prices increased as well, and we're still being told they're at a discount. If you need further proof that Wargaming thinks its customers are stupid, look no further. That was pretty self-explanatory. We were being told that the tanks were at a discount of some sort, right from the get-go, even though they're more expensive than a Tech Tree tank. Some by a couple thousand gold more than others. And then the prices go up on all of them so that they're all a couple thousand more gold than a Tech Tree tank. And we're still being told they're on some kind of a discount. And then later on we got told that it was a pricing error. That is one big massive whatever. So, like I said, this really pissed me off. Mainly because, as I said, the customers were being treated like we're stupid. Because it's like, hey, this brand new tank is a discount because we say so. It's got to be a reason for it being a discount. And as I said, having some kind of extra bonus like earning more XP, which, will wind up costing you more gold anyways if you want to convert the XP or train your crew better, which, as I said, ignorant potatoes or just new players won't care about that because they don't know what it is. I did not see that as warranting, giving us a brand new tank. Well, not a brand new tank, but a reskin of an old tank, some of which have been around since 2014, and, making them cost quite a couple thousand gold more, which could have been anywhere between $5 to $10 to $20 more gold having to buy from the gold store so that you could get enough gold to purchase them, and still being told they're on discount. It made absolutely no sense. And that's what really pissed me off, big time. So Gigantic Owl actually made a thread, recently that didn't get locked, thankfully. Warning to all about the new discounts on black tanks. These discounted prices are still more than they were originally advertised before the price hike. And he lists the prices of the black tank duos, which is where you pay for a bundle and you get two of the tanks. Duo 1 was originally 17,500 gold. It went up to 20,900 gold. It's now 19,700 gold. Duo 2 was originally 16,400 gold, went up to 19,500 gold, and is now resting at 18,450 gold. Duo 3 was originally 20,800 gold, went up to 24,900 gold, and is now 23,250 gold. The STA2 was originally 7,400 gold, which was the same as the STA2 in the Tech Tree, which actually would have been a pretty good steal. Went up to 8,700 gold, and is now 7,800 gold. The CDC was originally 7,500 gold, which was 50 gold more than what the plain CDC was listed for pricing on the Tankopedia. Went up to 8,900 gold and is now 8,000 gold. So, he happily listed the prices of those that I'm guessing he just remembered off the top of his head. And he's right. The final price is still more than what the original price was when these were first announced. Especially for some of the individual tanks, like the US T-34. It's now over 12,000 gold when the original price was like 11,700. It was cheaper than an IS-6 when these Black Edition tanks were first released. So in doing so, with coming up with these Black Edition tanks, another thing that's gotten a lot of people upset, including myself, but not as much as, being treated like we're stupid, was the fact that these Black Edition premium tanks, which are essentially reskins, most of them reskins, again, of older tanks that many people have either bought or, in the case of the CDC, earned, it makes them obsolete because they're better at crew training. They still earn the really good silver that a Tier 8 premium tank will get you, netting you a good 50,000 silver a game, even without a premium account. But they're also even better at crew training because they've got that extra 75% bonus to tank XP earnings, which translates to more XP for the crew as well, on top of the 10% crew XP bonus that every Tier 8 premium tank gets. So it was kind of like a big slap in the face to veteran players that had some of these older premium tanks, by basically saying, hey, yours are now obsolete. Really? And, it's just, one more little thing to kind of just put the nail in the coffin that makes veteran players, leave this game, so to speak. There was also one more thing that I wanted to bring up, not specifically about the Black Edition tanks, but, I did want to make a note that, there's two things about these bundles I wanted to point out. There's, for example, Waving the Flag 2, where you get the FCM 50-ton Liberté, the T-54 First Prototype Motherland, which was a free tank earlier this year. You could earn it for free, and the Cromwell Knight. Now, if you recall, the Cromwell Knight on its own, when it was last released on its own, I even did a video on it, it was being released again for 4,000 gold at the time. If you go on Tankopedia now, the gold cost of the Cromwell Knight is 4,740. So the prices on all the flag tanks were also increased at the same time as the Black Edition tanks and bundles being increased on Monday night earlier this week. No explanation behind that either, as far as I can tell. I didn't really look very hard at this point. I don't really care. But I recall the Cromwell Knight, the second time it was being sold earlier this year, when it was being sold earlier this year for the second time ever, it was 4,000 gold. And I don't recall it coming with any equipment or any of those other BS gimmicks, that, warrant, a hike in the price of gold to sell this thing. Now it's 4,740. Like, where's this coming from? It makes no sense whatsoever. And on top of that, the Waving the Flag 2 bundle, as I said, FCM 50-ton Liberté, Motherland, Cromwell Knight. 30,500 gold. Okay, so that's over $100 for 3 tanks. We had a sale of the original 3 flag tanks previously, which were, the first of the reskins. The FCM 50-ton Liberté, the T26E4 Super Pershing Freedom variant, so the US flag tank, and the Cromwell Knight. Those were all being sold for something like, I want to say, I believe it was 17,000 gold when that bundle was available. It was either earlier this year or sometime last year as well, which is a crazy steal. 2 Tier 8 premium tanks and a Tier 6 premium tank for 17,000 gold. That's an awesome deal. Now we've got one where it's the same thing. 2 Tier 8 premium tanks and a Tier 6 premium tank for 30,500 gold. I didn't realize that swapping out the Super Pershing Freedom variant for the Motherland suddenly warranted jacking the price up 13,000 gold. Or should I say, putting equipment on all the tanks warranted jacking the price up 13,000 gold. Because apparently the Motherland is significantly more valuable than the Super Pershing Freedom, and all this equipment as well justifies putting that much extra gold on this bundle. That's insane. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And people remember this stuff. People say this stuff on the forums. That's why it's important to kind of, at the very least, lurk on the forums. You don't have to make an account and post on there all the time. But, visit them, read them. You will find all this information there. People call Wargaming out on this BS all the time. You won't find that stuff anywhere else. And lastly, on these bundles, we've got the new FV201A45 Black Edition. So the FV201A45 is a British tank, like a Tier 7 Carnarvon, which is the Tier 8 Tech Tree British heavy tank. So it's similar to that, more or less, except it's a Tier 7 premium tank. Awesome. A brand new premium tank that we've never seen on console before and is not a reskin like the rest of these Black Edition tanks. Oh, but wait, the only way you can get the FV201A45 Black Edition is if you buy the Back in Black Ultimate Bundle, which costs 35,750 gold for 4 of the Black Edition tanks, the Lerva, the T-34, the IS-6, and the FV201, or the Back in Black Mega Bundle, where you get all of the Black Edition tanks, I believe there's 7 of them, for 54,200 gold. That's over $200 worth of gold. So it's either the 35,750 gold pack, just to get the FE201 or the 54,200 gold pack just to get the FE201. So once again, it's a brand new premium tank being offered for us. But in order to get it, you have to get it in a bundle with all this other crap that you could very well likely have. You could very well likely have a low. You could very well likely have a T-34. You could very well likely have an IS-6. But you still have to pay at least, how much money would that be if that was in gold? 25,000 for $100, and then you would have to get another 12,000 gold. So $150 worth of gold added into your account if you have 0 gold just to get the FV201 A45. And you'd still get the black edition of these other 3 tanks, which is cool. But as I said, they could very well be tanks you already have. They're just, better versions, as I said, because they get more XP. That's ridiculous. Nobody who, well, I don't know. Maybe some people who are aware of this would still do it, but I don't really think anybody who is, really frugal about this stuff and a tank collector is going to shell out $150 or over $200 just so they can get one premium tank. The first new premium tank that isn't simply a reskin of older ones that we've had in quite some time. That just seems absolutely ridiculous. And it's just dumb. It's not the first time they've done this. If you recall the Kanonen Jagdpanzer, when the Tiger 1 hammer was going on, the Tiger 1 hammer, which you could earn for free by completing in-game operations, was bundled with the Kanonen Jagdpanzer, forcing you to buy the Tiger 1 hammer even if you wanted to earn it for free, just so you could get the Kanonen Jagdpanzer. And that was a bundle that I believe was 18,000 gold. So you had to buy the Tiger 1 hammer if you wanted to get the Kanonen Jagdpanzer because you're a collector or whatever other reason. So you were forced to buy a tank that you could have literally earned for free at that time. It's BS. Simply put, it's just a bunch of BS, and this has been going on way too much this year with wargaming. And that's why I came in really hot on Monday and I made that original thread. But simply speaking, if you have not been following me or paying attention to the forums in the last week, or if you don't follow me on Twitter, this is probably all news to you. But if you don't go to the forums, you don't know about this information. You have no choice but to simply see the bundles in the game or on the news feed for the World of Tanks console website, or the news feed in the game itself too. Who knows? And simply just, you have no choice but to take it at face value. That, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, wargaming is being honest. More or less. I mean, as I said, there were steps taken, specifically by Pain God to kind of rectify the situation. He's got this interesting letter to Polly P, which to me looks fake and just looks like a bunch of PR. I highly doubt this is the actual note that Pain God sent to Polly P. I'm sure it was something extremely similar, but this would be more of a kind of PR-friendly version of it. But it is what it is. He stepped in and said, hey, the discounts need to be better, more or less. So they took steps to kind of rectify the situation and the massive uproar that was going on about these Black Edition tanks coming out. There's still people that are upset about it. I know I am, simply because I do not appreciate being treated like I'm stupid. I mean, I am stupid, but only in certain areas. I can still kind of do math. When I see a number higher than another number, but the number that is higher, I'm being told, is at a discount or is at it has a percentage reduction or a kind of fraction reduction from a lower number. That makes absolutely no sense to me, simply put. So I apologize for babbling on and on. This is actually my second take on doing this video. The previous one was a little longer than this and got up to about a half an hour. So I apologize for babbling on and on and on. But I just wanted to explain what the heck got me so upset when the announcement of these Black Edition tanks came out and whatnot. I still think it's absolutely ludicrous that a bundle of tanks costs over $200 worth of gold. That's just insane. And then another bundle costs $150 worth of gold, But if you want the one new premium tank that has shown up for the first time in months, you have to buy those. That seems absolutely ludicrous to me. I'm sure it's a great marketing ploy, and the few people that will actually purchase these bundles will still make wargaming quite a bit of revenue, because that's a lot of money just even from one person. If you think about it this way, having to get over $200 worth of gold just for the mega bundle to get all 7 of those Black Edition tanks, 5 people getting enough gold to pay for that is over $1,000. So for every 5 people that are doing that, wargaming is basically making $1,000. I'm sure they'll make a ton off of this. I don't doubt it for a second. But I simply wanted to voice what had me so upset about it. The pricing was all screwed up when it first came out, and then the prices were increased, and we're being told it's a pricing error that they're fixing, which just seemed like a bunch of BS. And also increasing the prices of the flag tanks and having no explanation behind that seemed absolutely stupid. As well as the flag tanks being bundled at equally ridiculous prices. Like I said, 30,000 gold for 3 tanks. When we had a very similar bundle, I think it was earlier this year, pretty much the same thing, for significantly less that price, almost half. It just seems absolutely ludicrous, but I digress. I'll stop rambling. There are still some good deals with these. One thing to note is that if you did buy the US T-34, that's the Tier 8 US Premium Heavy Tank, if you did buy that previously in November when it was on discount, you can actually submit a support ticket to Wargaming that you bought the US T-34 when it was on discount in November, and they will change it to the Black Edition, which gives you the bonus XP and has a pretty nice looking black paint job. I think I'm actually going to put some kind of a little blurb near the beginning of this long ass video, so that you can skip to this section where I just said what I said, where you can swap your T-34 that you bought in November on discount for the Black Edition, which is in all aspects, for utility purposes, a superior US T-34. The other thing too is that some of these Black Edition tanks, if you still have a little bit of gold laying around and you don't have any of the tech tree versions of these premium tanks, they're not a terrible buy on their own. If you still have a little bit of gold laying around, you can pay another $50, get another 12,000 gold to put enough gold in your account that you could buy one of these. I wouldn't see a problem with that. Ultimately, people can spend their money however they want. I'm perfectly fine with that. I am not fine with the kind of shady, deceitful kind of things that were going on the day that these were announced. It just seemed like a whole big schwack of BS, as well as bundling brand new tanks behind a giant paywall that you have to pay for in order to get something that is actually new. I don't agree with that whatsoever, and it's been going on for way too long, this year in particular. It's just a bunch of BS. There are still some good deals going on for Black Friday. The year of premium time for only 12,000 gold. That's $50 Canadian where I live. Normally a year of premium is 24,000 gold, so it's exactly 50% off. And you're spending, another $50 for a year of premium time in a game. Is basically, the cost of another year of Xbox Live Gold, which you would need to talk with your friends in party chat anyways, right? So think of it as a second Xbox Live Gold subscription. That is a massive steal to go for. I know I myself will be sinking $50 into my account to add enough gold where I can get that. Absolutely. But it's all this other crap that's going on, and a whole bunch of stuff going on without explanation, basically. And as I said, just going back to being treated like the consumers are stupid. That's what pisses me off the most. And unfortunately, it's just the way things have been going with World of Tanks console, especially lately. And it is what it is. But hopefully this video makes some of you aware of what's been going on and what got me so upset recently. I think I'm going to put a link somewhere to skip most of that ranting to get to the important information, starting with the swapping out of your T-34 if you got it in this November to the Black Edition. Wargaming said that they will do that for you. So this has been Mobius Y. I hope this video has at least been informational in some way. Sorry, I keep bumping this thing. I hope, as I said, I hope it's at least been informational in some way and given you some insight as to why I was so upset when these Black Edition tanks were first announced, or just, brought it to your attention what's been going on this week and why so many people are complaining about it, or at least were complaining about it. But anyways, this has been Mobius Y. As always, thank you very much for watching. Apologize for the ranting. I hope to see you in my next video or on the battlefield. Happy tanking. Bottoms up. So for those of you who live outside of Canada, Buckley's is a brand of cold and flu medicine, more or less. And its advertising slogan is, "It tastes awful and it works." I don't think you will find a more accurate advertising slogan anywhere in the history of advertising.